Hi, I'm Julio.
And I'm the AI that will make this story even more unpredictable.
Here's how it works. I write the first 4 chapters full of mystery, clues, and twists.
And then I step in to write the final chapter.
But here's the challenge. Can you guess the ending the AI will create before it's revealed?
I doubt you can. My endings always have a hidden surprise.
So, join us. Hit the like button if you enjoy the idea and share in the comments how you think this story should end. Will your theory beat the AI's twist?
The water reaches my ankles, cold, the kind that seeps through canvas boat shoes and makes your bones ache. I'm on my knees in the basement, flashlight clamped between my teeth, pulling boxes from the flooding stone floor. The generator kicks in again. Lights flicker, die, surge back. Thunder rolls across Bar Harbor like artillery. My hands find the waterlogged file box, navy blue, swollen at the seams. I drag it toward higher ground, toward the wooden stairs where the water hasn't climbed yet. The cardboard tears when I pry it open. Manila folders inside, some floating, others pressed together like pages of a ruined book. I grab the top folder. The label is barely legible through the moisture. Harbor Relief Fund, 1987 to 1990. Something tightens in my chest. I know this name. Mother mentioned it at dinner parties. The fund that helped fishing families after the pier accidents. Your father's charity work, she'd say, touching her pearls. I open the folder. The fax paper inside is translucent, fragile. The ink runs in places where drops have fallen from the pipes overhead, but not everywhere. The heading is clear. By instruction of Edward Whitcomb. My father's name. I hold the flashlight closer. My hand shakes. Water drips from my hair onto the page. Register pier incidents as accidental until 10:15. Compensation via Harbor Relief Fund. No receipts. Code 73A-K. The words don't make sense at first. I read them again. Register as accidental. No receipts. My throat goes dry. At the bottom of the page, a signature. Blue ink, careful loops. I've seen it on birthday cards, on the inside covers of books he gave me for Christmas. Edward Whitcomb. Another drop falls from the ceiling, smears the date stamp. September 1987. 2 years ago. The basement door slams open above me. I freeze. Footsteps on the stairs. Quick, deliberate. Clara? My father's voice. I look down at the paper in my hands, then at the stairs. His wingtips appear first, then his pressed slacks, still perfect despite the storm. He stops 3 steps from the bottom, sees me, sees the box, sees the folder open in my lap. His face doesn't change, but his eyes do. What are you doing down here? His voice is calm, too calm. I can't answer. My tongue feels thick. He takes another step down. Water splashes under his shoe. Clara, give me that. It's not a request. My fingers tighten on the paper. The ink smudges under my thumb. What does this mean? I manage. What happened at the pier? He reaches the bottom step, extends his hand. That's old business. Nothing you need to worry about. But his jaw is tight, and he's watching me like he's calculating something. People got hurt, I say. The words come out smaller than I want. This says you covered it up? You're reading it wrong. He steps into the water, moving toward me. Those documents are confidential. They shouldn't be down here. He's close now. Close enough that I can smell his cologne over the mold and salt. Why no receipts? I hear myself ask. His hand drops to his side. Stand up, Clara. Something in his tone makes my skin prickle. I don't move. Above us, footsteps. Mother's voice calling his name from the kitchen. He glances at the stairs, then back at me. We'll discuss this upstairs, he says, when you're calmer. He turns and walks back toward the steps, water sloshing around his ankles. I look down at the paper in my hands. In the margin, partially obscured by water damage, someone has written in pencil, Vega, confirmed. I flip to the next page in the folder, a list of names, dates, dollar amounts, And next to 3 of the names in the same pencil, no contact. Family inquiry stopped. My pulse hammers in my ears. The lights flicker again. When I look up, my father is standing at the top of the stairs, silhouetted in the doorway, watching me. He doesn't say anything. Then he closes the door. I hear the lock click. The lock is old brass, simple mechanism. I stand on the 3rd step, bobby pin from my hair bent between my fingers. My hands shake, but I force them steady. 3 tries. The pin catches. The lock clicks. I ease the door open an inch. Listen. Voices from the kitchen. My father's low rumble, mother's higher pitch. They're arguing. I slip through, close the door without a sound. The folder is pressed against my chest under my sweater, papers cold and damp against my skin. The back hallway is dark. I move fast, staying close to the wall. Rain hammers the windows. Through the kitchen doorway, I catch fragments. Should never have kept those files. Didn't know she'd go down there. I reach the mudroom, grab my rain jacket. My car keys are on the hook. Outside, the storm is worse than I thought. Wind tears at the trees. I run to my Honda, throw myself inside, lock the doors. My breath fogs the windshield. I pull the folder out, spread the pages across the passenger seat. The flashlight from the basement is still in my jacket pocket. I click it on. The list of names. I scan them in the shaking light. Miguel Vega, $2,300. No contact. Family inquiry stopped. Santos R., $1,800. No contact. Family inquiry stopped. Chen L., $2,100. No contact. Family inquiry stopped. 7 more names below them. Dates ranging from September 1987 to March 1988. All marked Harbor Relief Fund. But those three with the pencil marks. No contact. Family inquiry stopped. What does that mean? I flip to another page. A memo on Whitcomb Industries letterhead. Incident log. Pier 7 renovation project. Per EC directive. Local authorities notified of equipment malfunctions only. No mention of personnel. Standard workman's comp processed through relief fund. Media contact. None. EC. Edward Whitcomb. Equipment malfunctions. Not accidents. Not injuries. Malfunctions. I grip the steering wheel. My knuckles go white. The pier renovation. I remember it. Summer of '87. I was home from boarding school. The construction ran all through August into September. Whitcomb Industries was expanding the commercial docks. Father said it would bring jobs, economic development. He got his photo in the Bar Harbor Times, shaking hands with the mayor. I start the engine. Windshield wipers beat against the rain. I drive. 20 minutes later, I'm parked outside the Bar Harbor Public Library. It's still open. Tuesday night hours. The storm has cleared the streets. Inside, Mrs. Chen sits at the circulation desk. She looks up when the door chimes. Clara Whitcomb, she smiles. Home for the summer? Just visiting. I shake water from my jacket. I need to look at old newspapers, 1987 to '88. Microfiche room is in the back, she gestures. You know the way. I do. I spent hours here in high school, escaping the mansion. The microfiche machine hums when I turn it on. I load the spools. Bar Harbor Times, September 1987. I scroll through. Society pages. Lobster Festival coverage. A story about the pier renovation groundbreaking. There, page 3. October 2, 1987. Worker injured in pier accident. Condition stable. I lean closer to the screen. A construction worker suffered injuries Tuesday during renovation work at Commercial Pier 7. The worker, whose name was not released, was treated at Mount Desert Island Hospital and released. Project manager David Alcott confirmed the incident resulted from equipment malfunction and said work would resume after safety review. The pier renovation, funded by Whitcomb Industries, is expected to create 40 new jobs when completed next spring. Equipment malfunction, just like the memo said. But whose name wasn't released? I scroll forward. October, November, nothing. December 1987, bottom of page 7. Families seek information on missing workers. My stomach drops. 2 families are seeking information about relatives who worked on the Commercial Pier 7 renovation project last fall. Maria Vega, 34, said her brother Miguel Vega, 29, has not contacted the family since September and did not return to their home in Augusta as planned. He always called every Sunday, Mrs. Vega said. Something is wrong. Robert Santos, 41, of Portland, was also reported missing by his sister after failing to meet her in Boston in October. Both men were employed by Alcott Construction during the pier project. Police say the cases are under investigation, but no foul play is suspected. Project manager David Alcott could not be reached for comment. I read it again, then again. Miguel Vega, Robert Santos, the names from the list, missing. And the Harbor Relief Fund paid their families, paid them to stop asking questions. My hands are shaking again. I scroll forward frantically. January, February, March, nothing. No follow-up stories, no resolution. The cases just disappeared, like the men. I pull out my notebook, write down everything. The dates, the names, the amounts. A shadow falls across the table. I look up. Mrs. Chen stands there. Her smile is gone. I'm sorry, Clara. We're closing early tonight. The storm. It's only 7:30. I know, but I need to lock up. Her voice is different, flat. I look past her. The library is empty. When did everyone leave? Of course. I stand, gather my notes. Mrs. Chen watches me. She's not moving toward the door. Your father called, she says quietly. My blood goes cold. He wanted to know if you'd been here. I told him no. I stare at her, but I can't lie to him again. She glances toward the front windows. You should go. Now. I grab my jacket, head for the door. Clara. I turn. Mrs. Chen's face is pale. Chen, she says, on your list. That was my cousin, Lawrence. The room tilts. He was supposed to come for Christmas in 1987. He never showed up. Her voice cracks. Your father came to our house, brought an envelope, said Lawrence had an accident, said he was in a hospital in Boston, but he was fine, recovering. Said the company would cover everything. Just sign the form. Did you? I whisper. My uncle signed. He didn't speak English well, didn't ask questions. She wraps her arms around herself. We never saw Lawrence again. Never got a phone number for the hospital. Nothing. Thunder shakes the windows. Why didn't you go to the police? We did. They said there was no record of him at any Boston hospital. But by then, 6 months had passed. They said he probably went back to China, didn't want to embarrass the family. Her eyes are wet. But Lawrence wouldn't do that. He wouldn't. My throat is tight. I'm sorry, I manage. Don't be sorry. Mrs. Chen's voice hardens. Just be careful. Your father has friends everywhere in this town. I push through the door into the rain. The parking lot is empty except for my Honda and one other car, a black Cadillac, idling, headlights off. I can't see through the windshield, but I know it's not empty. I run to my car, fumble with the keys. The Cadillac's engine revs. I throw myself inside, lock the doors, start the engine. The Cadillac pulls forward, blocking the exit. My heart hammers. Then the driver's door opens. A man steps out. Tall, broad shoulders, dark suit despite the rain. He walks toward my car. I slam the Honda into reverse, tires squeal. I cut the wheel, aim for the side exit. The man doesn't run, just watches. In my rearview mirror, I see him lift something to his face. A radio. He's calling someone. I floor the accelerator. The Honda fishtails on wet pavement, straightens. The side exit spits me onto Shore Road. Rain blurs everything. I check the mirror. No headlights behind me yet. My phone rings. The brick-sized Motorola in my purse. I don't answer. It rings again. Stops. Starts again. I grab it. Look at the tiny screen. Home flashes in green pixels. I throw it on the passenger seat. Let it ring. Where can I go? Not the mansion. Not anywhere Father owns. Not anywhere his friends. The phone stops ringing. I'm passing the marina when I see them. Headlights in my mirror, coming fast. The Cadillac. I cut right on to Harborview Drive. The Honda's engine whines. 40, 50, too fast for these roads. The Cadillac stays close. I need help. I need someone who isn't connected to my father. David Alcott, the project manager from the newspaper. If he was there, if he saw what happened. I wrench the wheel left onto Route 3. The Cadillac's headlights swing wide, then correct. I'm heading north, away from town, toward Ellsworth. My phone rings again. Different number this time. I answer without thinking. Clara, listen to me. My father's voice, controlled. You're confused. You need to come home. I'm not confused. You don't understand what you found. Then explain it. My voice cracks. Explain Miguel Vega. Explain why Lawrence Chen never came home. Silence. Just the hiss of rain on the line. Where are you? He asks. Away from you. Clara. I hang up. The Cadillac is dropping back, slowly. Why? Then I see them. Red and blue lights ahead. A police cruiser, parked sideways across the road, blocking it. I brake hard. The Honda slides, stops 50 feet from the cruiser. A figure steps out. Sheriff's uniform, tall. I recognize him from town events. Sheriff Patterson, father's golfing partner. He walks toward me, slow, deliberate, hand resting on his belt. I look in the mirror. The Cadillac has stopped 100 yards back, waiting. Patterson taps on my window. I lower it an inch. Rain sprays in. Clara. He bends down, smiles. Your father's worried. Says you ran out without your medication. I don't take medication. That's so. His smile doesn't change. He says you've been under a lot of stress, college and all. Says sometimes you get confused. My chest tightens. I'm fine. Then come on out. We'll give your dad a call, sort this out. I'm 22 years old. I don't need… Clara. His voice hardens. Step out of the vehicle. My hand moves to the gear shift. Patterson's hand moves to his gun. Don't do something stupid, he says quietly. Behind him, another cruiser pulls up. 2 more officers get out. 3 cops. 1 Cadillac. All working for my father. I think of the memo. Local authorities notified of equipment malfunctions only. Local authorities. Patterson has his hand on the door handle now. I'm going to open this door, he says, and you're going to step out nice and calm. I press the locks. All 4 doors click. Patterson's jaw tightens. Then headlights swing across the scene. Bright, high beams. A pickup truck pulls up behind the Cadillac. Old Ford, rust showing through blue paint. A man gets out. He's maybe 60. Flannel shirt, work boots, face like weathered granite. He walks past the Cadillac, past Patterson, straight to my window. Patterson straightens. Sir, you need to step back. That's Ed Whitcomb's daughter? The man asks. Patterson hesitates. This is official police business. Official. The man spits. That's what you called it when my nephew disappeared too. Official investigation. Officially went nowhere. My heart stops. Your nephew? The man looks at me through the rain-streaked window. His eyes are hard. Robert Santos. Worked the pier job in '87. Your father paid us $5,000. Said Bobby died in an accident. But we never got a body. Never got answers. Patterson steps between us. Mr. Santos, I'm going to have to… Ask me what? to shut up like I did 8 years ago. Santos' voice rises. Like Maria Vega did? Like the Chen family did? Other cars are slowing now, rubbernecking, witnesses. Patterson's radio crackles. He mutters something into it. Santos leans closer to my window. You found something, didn't you? I nod. Once. Then, don't let them take it. He straightens, raises his voice. And don't let them tell you it was accidents. Bobby called me 2 days before he disappeared. Said something wasn't right at the site. Said he saw something in the pylons. Structural issues. He was going to report it. That's enough, Patterson snaps. He never made that report, Santos continues, and I never saw him again. Patterson grabs Santos's arm. You're interfering with... With what? Kidnapping Ed Whitcomb's daughter because she asked questions? More cars have stopped. People getting out despite the rain. I recognize faces. Locals. Working families. Patterson sees them too. His hand drops from his gun. Clara, he says quietly, your father just wants to talk, that's all. Then why 3 cruisers? Santos demands. Patterson doesn't answer. My phone rings again. I ignore it. Let her go, someone calls from the crowd. Let her go, others echo. Patterson's radio crackles. Urgent whispers. He steps back from my car. Signals to the other officers. They move the cruiser. The road is clear. Santos nods at me. Go, but be smart about where. I put the Honda in gear, drive forward, slowly. The crowd parts. In my mirror, I see Patterson on his radio. The Cadillac turning around. They're letting me go, but only because there are witnesses. I drive until the crowd disappears behind me. Then I pull into a gas station. Dark. Closed for the night. I need to think. Santos said Bobby saw something. Structural issues in the pylons. I pull out the folder, flip through pages with shaking hands. There, another memo, dated September 15th, 1987. Pier 7 Foundation Inspection. Alcott reports concerns from crew regarding pylon stability. Recommend halting work pending structural review. EC response. Proceed as planned. Timeline critical. Inspection can be conducted after completion. After completion. They kept building on unstable pylons because the timeline was critical. I flipped to another page. A contract between Whitcomb Industries and New England Development Corp. Completion bonus, $2.3 million. Payable only if pier operational by November 1, 1987. Penalties for delays, $100,000 per week. $2 million. That's why they didn't stop. That's why they covered it up. I flipped to another page. A contract between Whitcomb Industries and New England Development Corp. Completion bonus, $2.3 million. Payable only if pier operational by November 1, 1987. Penalties for delays, $100,000 per week. $2 million. That's why they didn't stop. That's why they covered it up. But that doesn't explain why the workers disappeared. Unless... My phone rings. Unknown number. I answer. Miss Whitcomb? A man's voice. Rough. Unfamiliar. Who is this? Someone who knows what you're looking for. A pause. The men who disappeared? They didn't die in accidents. My blood runs cold. What happened to them? They found out about the pylons, about the shortcuts. They were going to talk. The voice drops lower. Your father couldn't let that happen, not with that completion bonus, not with the development contract. Who are you? I was there. I saw what they did. Breathing on the line. Meet me tomorrow, dawn. The old pier, Pier 7. I'll show you. Show me what? Where they buried the evidence. The line goes dead. I sit in the dark, rain drumming on the roof. buried the evidence. Not the bodies, the evidence. I look at the folder in my lap, at my father's signature on page after page. What did they do? Headlights sweep across the gas station. A car slows, stops at the road. Black Cadillac. It idles there, watching. I start the engine, pull out the back way. The Cadillac follows. I lose the Cadillac on the back roads near Acadia, take 3 turns without signaling, kill my headlights, and pull behind an abandoned lobster shack. I wait. 20 minutes. No lights pass. The dashboard clock reads 11:47 p.m. 7 hours until dawn. I can't go to a hotel. Father would check them all. Can't go to friends. Anyone I know, he knows. I think of Mother. What she said at dinner last week when I mentioned thinking about law school. Your father has worked so hard to build something clean. Don't go digging up dirt that doesn't concern you. Clean. I look at the folder in my lap. I drive to the Oceanside Motel on Route 1. Pay cash for a room. The clerk doesn't look up from his magazine. Inside, I spread everything on the bed. All the documents, my notes from the library. I need to understand this completely before dawn. The timeline. August 1987. Pier 7 renovation begins. Whitcomb Industries contracts with Alcott Construction. September. Workers report structural concerns about pylons. My father orders them to continue anyway. September-October. Multiple accidents. Workers paid off through Harbor Relief Fund. October. At least 3 workers. Vega, Santos, Chen. Stop contacting their families. November 1. Pier completed. Father collects $2.3 million bonus. December. Families start asking questions. More payments. Police say no foul play. The pieces fit, but something's missing. Why didn't the workers just quit? Why disappear? I flip through pages again, find something I missed before. A handwritten note clipped to an invoice. The writing is cramped, rushed. Alcott called, says crew threatening to walk. They know about the shortcuts. Worse, 3 of them, Vega, Santos, Chen, are talking about going to the labor board. Says they have photos of the work. We can't let this reach the state. Too many eyes on this project already. Handle it. D.D. I flip back to the earlier memos. Look at the signatures. David Harding, my father's business partner. Handle it. My stomach turns. At 5:30 a.m., I'm in the Honda, driving south toward Bar Harbor. The rain has stopped. Skies still dark, but starting to lighten at the edges. Pier 7 is on the old commercial waterfront. Most of the businesses there closed after the new marina opened in '89. I park 2 blocks away, walk the rest. The pier juts into the harbor like a broken finger. Wooden pilings crusted with barnacles. Chain link fence with condemned signs. I climb the fence, drop to the other side. The boards creak under my feet. Some are rotted through. I step carefully. At the far end, where the pier meets open water, someone's waiting. A man, silhouette against the gray dawn. I walk toward him. My hands in my pocket, gripping my car keys like a weapon. 20 feet away, I stop. Miss Whitcomb. He turns. I can see his face now. 50s, weathered, scarred along one cheek. You called me? I did. He looks past me, checking if I'm alone. You came alone. Good. Who are you? Name's Frank Delacroix. I worked for Alcott. I was on the pier job. My pulse quickens. You saw what happened? I saw. His voice is rough, and I kept my mouth shut for 8 years. Got paid well for it, but I can't anymore. Why now? He reaches into his jacket. I tense, but he pulls out a folded newspaper. Yesterday's Portland Press Herald. He hands it to me. The headline, Governor announces bid for Senate. Whitcomb Industries among top campaign donors. My father, donating to the governor's Senate campaign? So? I ask. Look at the date of that first donation, he points. October 15th, 1987. The same date from the memo. The date they were supposed to stop registering incidents as accidents. That's when it changed, Delacroix says. Your father made a deal. Big donation to the governor's re-election campaign. He was just running for his second term then. In exchange, the state labor board dropped their investigation into the Pier project. My throat goes dry. What investigation? Vega, Santos, Chen, they'd already filed complaints with the state before they disappeared, documented the shortcuts, the faulty pylons, took photos. He pauses. The labor board was supposed to inspect in October, but after your father's donation, the inspection was canceled, files sealed, case closed. The governor covered it up. The governor made it go away. Delacroix spits into the water. And your father made sure those 3 workers couldn't testify. Where are they? He looks at me. Something in his eyes makes me want to run. Come on. He turns toward the water. I'll show you. He leads me to the edge of the pier, points down at the pilings. See the foundation? The concrete pylons? I look. Thick columns disappearing into the dark water. 3 of those pylons were poured the night of September 29th, he says. Rush job. Had to get the foundation done before the inspection that never happened. He's silent for a moment. Vega, Santos, and Chen were working late that night. Alcott called them in special, said there was overtime pay, double time. My heart pounds. They never left the site, Delacroix continues. Next morning, Alcott told us they'd quit, went back to wherever they came from, but I saw the concrete truck, saw them pour those pylons in the dark, saw Alcott and 2 other men I didn't recognize standing guard while they worked. You think they're... I know they are. His voice breaks. I watched them pour concrete over the forms that night, and in the morning there were 3 extra pylons, 3 that weren't on the original plans. Horror floods through me. They killed them. They made them disappear. Delacroix's hands shake. And then they poured them into the foundation of the pier your father built. The pier he got paid $2 million to finish on time. I back away. My mind reels. Why are you telling me this now? Because your father's not stopping. He pulls out another paper, another headline. New coastal development project, 3 new piers. Same contractors, same timeline pressures, same playbook. My vision swims. And this time, it's not just immigrant workers nobody asks about. Delacroix's eyes are hard. It's a public works project, federal funding. But if something goes wrong again, if corners get cut, if people get hurt, your father has even more protection now. The governor's running for Senate. Your father's his biggest donor. They need each other. I have to go to the police. The police? He laughs bitterly. Sheriff Patterson's brother-in-law works for your father. The state attorney general plays golf with him every month. You think they'll help you? Then who? Federal investigators, the FBI, someone outside this state. He grabs my arm. But you need proof, real proof, not just documents, not just the word of a construction worker nobody will believe. What proof? The bodies. He looks at the water. They're still down there, in those pylons, and they can be found. Footsteps on the pier behind us. We both spin. David Harding walks toward us, my father's partner, flanked by 2 men in dark suits. The man from the Cadillac is one of them. Clara. Harding's voice is smooth, disappointed. You really should have listened to your father. Delacroix moves in front of me. Stay back. Harding stops 10 feet away, smiles. Frank, after all we've paid you over the years, this is how you repay us? The new project's different. I'm not being part of. You already are part of it. Harding's smile vanishes. You were there in 1987. You helped pour those pylons. You think telling her changes that? Delacroix's face goes pale. I look at him. You helped? I didn't know what was in those forms until after, he stammers. I swear I didn't. It doesn't matter what you knew, Harding cuts him off. You're implicated either way. If this comes out, you go down too. The two men in suits move closer. I back toward the edge of the pier. Look at the water. 15-foot drop. Cold, but survivable. Clara, Harding's voice softens. You're Edward's daughter. Your family. We don't want to hurt you. We just need you to understand. This is business. Difficult business, yes, but necessary. Your father built something important. Jobs, development, progress. Sometimes that requires difficult choices. Murder? Accidents? His eyes are cold. Tragic accidents, nothing more. I have the documents, we know, and we'll take them, and you'll come home, and this will all be forgotten. He steps closer. Or you can make this harder than it needs to be. And trust me, Clara, that won't end well for anyone. Not for you, not for your mother, not for anyone who helped you tonight. I think of Santos, of Mrs. Chen. Your father made a life for you, Harding continues. Harvard admission, trust fund, a future. Don't throw it away because of something that happened 8 years ago to people who don't matter anymore. People who don't matter. I look at Delacroix, at the water, at the pylons. 3 men buried in concrete because they tried to do the right thing. No, I say. Harding sighs, nods to the 2 men. They rush forward. I turn and jump.
The water hits like concrete. Cold shock steals my breath. I plunge deep, salt burning my eyes. The current already pulling me away from the pier. Above me, silhouettes at the edge, shouting, a splash, someone following. I kick hard, driving deeper, lungs already burning. My sweater drags like an anchor. I shed it, watch it float away, the folder still pressed against my chest. I surface 30 feet from the pier, gasping. Dawnlight glints on the water. One of the suited men is swimming toward me, powerful strokes closing the distance. Behind him, Harding shouts orders. Delacroix is on his knees, held by the second man. I dive again, swim underwater until my lungs scream. When I surface, I'm behind a piling, hidden from view. The swimming man treads water, scanning, cursing. The shoreline stretches 50 yards to my left. Harbor businesses still dark. Nobody to witness, except one. A fishing boat, engine rumbling, coming around the point. I wave frantically, lungs burning with cold and exertion. The boat changes course, heads toward me. The suited man sees it too, hesitates. It's an old lobster boat, weathered blue, Santos painted on the bow. The man from last night, Robert Santos's uncle. He cuts the engine, drifts alongside me, tosses a life preserver. I grab it with numb fingers. He hauls me aboard as the suited man shouts, swimming back toward the pier. Told you to be smart about where you went, Santos says, wrapping a blanket around my shoulders. Pier's the first place they'd look. My teeth chatter uncontrollably. I had to see. The pylons. He nods, hands me a thermos of coffee. Did you find what you needed? I clutched a soggy folder. Evidence. They killed them, buried them in the concrete. Santos's face hardens. He guns the engine, the boat surging forward, away from the pier, away from Bar Harbor. Where are we going? I manage, shivering. Somewhere safe, somewhere they can't reach. He glances at the folder. That enough to prove it? Not alone. We need more. I look back at the receding pier. We need the bodies. Santos' eyes meet mine. Understanding passes between us. First, we get you somewhere dry. Then we make some calls. I know people who aren't on your father's payroll. The somewhere safe is a fishing cabin on the north shore of Frenchman Bay. Solar panels on the roof. No phone line, no neighbors. Santo's daughter meets us there, Lisa. She's my age, dark eyes like her uncle. She hands me dry clothes, makes more coffee while I change. I called them, Santos says when I emerge. They'll meet us in Ellsworth at noon. Who? Federal investigators. Been building a case against the governor for months. Campaign finance violations. But this, he taps the folder I've laid out to dry, this gives them what they couldn't get before, the connection. Lisa spreads the documents carefully on the kitchen table. We need to make copies. I nod. And I need to call someone. I think of Mrs. Chen, of the other families. They deserve to know. Santos hands me a radio phone. Signal's weak, but it should work. I dial the Bar Harbor Public Library. Mrs. Chen answers on the third ring. It's Clara Whitcomb, I say. I found out what happened to Lawrence. Silence. Then a soft intake of breath. Can you meet us? I give her the address in Ellsworth. Bring anyone who lost someone on that pier project. I'll be there, she says. Her voice catches. Thank you. I hang up. Find Lisa and Santos watching me. This will destroy your father, Lisa says. Not a warning, a statement. I know. My voice is steadier than I expected. Santos studies me. You ready for that? Once this starts, there's no stopping it. Am I ready? The question hangs in the air. I think of my father's face in the basement, the calculation in his eyes, the bodies buried in concrete so he could collect a bonus. Yes, I say, I'm ready. The federal building in Ellsworth is unassuming. Brick, 3 stories. We entered through the back, escorted by a woman who introduced herself only as Agent Mercer. In a conference room, 3 men in suits wait. Not like Harding's men, different suits, different eyes. Ms. Whitcomb, the oldest, extends his hand. I'm Special Agent Callahan, FBI. These are Agents Foster and Diaz. We understand you have information about the Bar Harbor Pier project from 1987. I placed the folder on the table. 3 men were murdered. Miguel Vega, Robert Santos, Lawrence Chen. Buried in concrete pylons because they were going to expose safety violations. Callahan doesn't blink. That's a serious accusation. My father covered it up, paid off families, bought the governor's help with campaign donations. We'll need more than documents. Foster, the youngest agent, speaks up. If bodies are really in those pylons— They are, Santos interrupts. My nephew is there. Then we need physical evidence, Foster continues. Ground-penetrating radar maybe. Core samples. A knock at the door. Mrs. Chen enters, followed by a woman I don't recognize. Her face is drawn, eyes red. Maria Vega, she introduces herself. Miguel's sister. Agent Mercer brings more chairs. The room feels smaller, heavier with grief. We've suspected corruption in the governor's office, Callahan says after introductions. Campaign finance irregularities, misappropriation of state funds. But we never had a direct connection to Whitcomb Industries. I point to the memo. There's your connection. My father bought the governor's silence, still is. They're planning another project, same contractors, same methods. Agent Diaz speaks for the first time. We'll need a warrant. That will take time. We don't have time. I lean forward. The evidence is there, in those pylons. But my father knows I know. He'll destroy anything he can. He's already tried to. My phone rings. The number on the display. Home. The room falls silent. Put it on speaker, Callahan instructs. I answer. Hello? Clara. My father's voice fills the room. Calm, measured. Where are you? Safe. You need to come home, sweetheart. We're worried sick. I meet Callahan's eyes. He nods encouragement. I know what happened at the pier, Dad, in 1987. A pause. You found some old business documents, out of context. I understand why you're confused. I'm not confused. I spoke to Frank Delacroix. Another pause. Longer. Frank has a drinking problem, has for years. Whatever he told you, he told me where the bodies are. The silence stretches so long I think he's hung up. Clara. His voice is different now, harder. You're making a terrible mistake. You don't understand what's at stake. I understand perfectly. 3 men are dead because they threatened your bonus, your contract. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? My voice rises. Explain it to me. Explain why Lawrence Chen never came home for Christmas. Why Miguel Vega stopped calling his sister every Sunday. These were complicated situations. They're buried in the pylons, aren't they? That's why there were never any bodies. Why the police investigation went nowhere. You have no idea what you're talking about. His voice turns sharp. Where are you? Who have you been talking to? I look around the room. At Mrs. Chen, at Maria Vega, at the FBI agents recording every word. People who want the truth. The truth. He laughs, a sound I've never heard before. The truth is I built something that matters. I created jobs, prosperity, a future for this town, for you. His voice drops. You think anyone cares about 3 immigrant workers who died in an accident? You think anyone will thank you for destroying everything I've built? The room is absolutely still. My father's words hang in the air. 3 immigrant workers who died in an accident. A confession. Agent Callahan holds up a finger. Mouths. Keep him talking. You just admitted they died, Dad. A beat of silence. Construction is dangerous work, Clara. Accidents happen. Yes, there were incidents. Yes, people got hurt. But what Harding told you, what Delacroix told you, it's not the whole story. Then tell me the whole story, he sighs. Come home. We'll talk privately. Just you and me. No. Tell me now, Clara. Tell me or I'm going to the FBI. His voice turns cold. Don't threaten me. It's not a fact. Tell me what happened to those men. The silence stretches. I can almost see him calculating, weighing options. Delacroix was there, he says finally. Ask him what really happened. Ask him who gave the orders, who poured the concrete. I'm asking you. I wasn't even there that night. His voice hardens. I was at a fundraiser for the governor. Check the papers. There are photos. Of course he wasn't there. He was establishing his alibi. Harding handled it, he continues. That's what partners are for, handling problems. The workers were problems? They were going to shut down the project, cost us millions, cost the town jobs. They had to be dealt with. He pauses. Harding made the call. I didn't know the details until after. You knew they were dead. I knew they weren't coming back. His voice is flat now. And I knew the pier needed to be completed. The rest, I chose not to ask about. Agent Foster is writing furiously. Callahan speaks quietly into a phone. And the payments to the families? The Harbor Relief Fund? Compensation. Legitimate compensation for workplace accidents. We did nothing wrong. You covered up 3 murders? No, Clara. I protected my business, my family, your future. His voice softens. Come home. Let's talk this through. Before you do something you can't take back. I look at Mrs. Chen, at Maria Vega. Their faces reflect my own resolve. It's too late for that, Dad. Clara, the FBI is listening to this call. They've been building a case against the governor. Now they have you, too. My voice doesn't waver. They're going to find the bodies. They're going to prove what happened. Silence. Then, you have no idea what you've done. The line goes dead. Agent Callahan sets down his phone. We have the warrant. And a forensic team is already assembling in Bar Harbor. Dawn breaks again over Pier 7. Different this time. Yellow crime scene tape flutters in the breeze. FBI jackets everywhere. I stand with Mrs. Chen and Maria Vega watching as technicians set up ground-penetrating radar equipment. Santos is there too, face grim. It might take days, Agent Mercer warns us. The concrete is thick, and we don't know exactly where. I know where, a voice says behind us. Frank Delacroix walks toward us, flanked by 2 FBI agents. His face is bruised, one eye swollen shut. Harding's men found me after you jumped, he explains, seeing my expression. But the FBI found them. He points to 3 pylons at the eastern edge of the pier. There, that's where they are. His voice breaks. I helped pour the concrete. I didn't know they were in there. Not until after. I swear I didn't know. Mrs. Chen steps forward. You knew my cousin is in there? All these years? Delacroix can't meet her eyes. I was afraid. They paid me to stay quiet. Said I was an accessory. Said I'd go down too if it ever came out. You will, Agent Mercer says. But cooperation counts for something. The radar team moves to the pylons Delacroix indicated. We wait. Hours pass. The technicians drill core samples. I watch from the shore as they pull long cylinders of concrete from the pylons. Then activity explodes. Shouts. More FBI agents rushing to the pier. Agent Callahan walks toward us. His face tells us everything. We found human remains, he says quietly, in the eastern pylons, just as Mr. Delacroix described. Mrs. Chen sinks to her knees. Maria Vega lets out a wail that cuts through the morning air. There's more, Callahan continues. We executed search warrants at Whitcomb Industries and at your father's home. We found files, records of other incidents, other projects. My stomach drops. Other bodies? He nods once. We think so. We're still putting it together. But this was a pattern. I look past him to the pier, to the concrete being carefully cut away, to the truth finally being excavated. What happens now? I ask. Now we build a case against your father, against Harding, against the governor, against anyone who was involved. Callahan's eyes are kind but firm. You'll be a key witness, Miss Whitcomb, if you're willing. I am. It won't be easy. These are powerful men. I know. He nods. We've arranged protective custody for all of you. He looks at Mrs. Chen, at Maria Vega, at Santos. This isn't over, not by a long shot. 3 months later, I sit in another conference room, federal courthouse in Portland. My hands are steady as I sign the affidavit. The indictments came down last week. Edward Whitcomb, David Harding, former Governor James Patterson, Sheriff William Patterson, 8 others. Conspiracy, obstruction of justice, murder. My father hasn't spoken to me since that phone call. Mother filed for divorce 3 weeks after his arrest. The family fortune is frozen. The Whitcomb name is poison. I don't care. I've spent these months with the families, with Mrs. Chen, with Maria Vega, with the Santos family, hearing stories about Lawrence, about Miguel, about Robert, turning names into people, giving faces to the dead. I've spent hours with prosecutors, with FBI agents, piecing together what happened, not just on Pier 7, but on other projects, other sites where workers disappeared, where safety violations were buried along with those who would expose them. The U attorney slides the final document across the table, witness statement for the grand jury. Once you sign this, there's no going back, she says. Are you sure you're ready? I think of the basement, the flooding, the box I found by chance. I think of my father's face when he saw me reading those files. I think of the 3 men entombed in concrete for 8 years while their families searched and grieved. I sign my name, Clara Whitcomb, for the last time. Tomorrow, I start the process of changing it. I'm ready.
The truth doesn't stay buried forever. Neither do the dead.